Look! This might be a hot take, but after seeing this animation clip made by Pringus Dingus, Pringus Dingus, it got me thinking. How would it really play out if we crossed over the Digimon universe with the Pokemon universe? Like if we threw a well-versed trainer against one of the Digi-Destined, who would really walk out victorious? If we're basing this off of the structure for the respective multiverses alone, Digimon would absolutely mop the gym floor with Pokemon in most cases. Trainers rely on practice and time spent fighting with their Pokemon to earn the ability to evolve into their next form. But Digimon straight up uses divine Digi-Destined energy to Digivolve to even their ultimate forms, depending on the severity of the situation. Like, it's an OP strat. Like, what can I say? When you're going up against a rocket grunt with a and the op just got himself a War Greymon because he let Jesus take the wheel, hate to break it to you, you're taking an L.
What does that mean? Okay, I gotta break it down to you. In this world, you don't want to be an L.
What is that?
An L is like loser.
Okay.
But there is still an argument to be made for the broad reach and audience demographics and an ever loyal fanbase for Pokemon TCG. And console games alike. Which the Digimon equivalent can't even compare to, honestly.
Cards to Digivolve.
Wait a minute! You play Digimon too?
Yes, my Digimon.
Kidding me? I love Digimon!
That's why there has been so much debate surrounding this topic since both of these brands were debuted in the late 90s, which both sides having very legitimate arguments for who would win in a crossover battle. Alright, the first and most obvious reason as to why Digimon would rock any Pokemon in a battle are the logistical mechanisms of their universes. More so the evolution structure. We see this in all variations of the brand. In the show, characters who just start out have low-level base form Pokemon and have no chance against the higher-level players with trained and even evolved partners. This creates a learning curve, if you will. When it comes to fans of the game and characters in the show alike, if you've ever picked up a Pokemon game yourself, you know that the start is a full-on grind.
Hey, yo! Yo, now that's whack.
It wouldn't be until at least the second or third gym when you start evolving some of your main team. Same thing with the show. As a general rule, in any Pokemon region, the younger the trainer, the higher the chance they have of weak Pokemon. And you could probably wipe the floor and take his lunch money while you're at it too. But in Digimon, they say, nah, everybody about to be a secret agent. It doesn't matter if you're 8 or 25. If you're a Digi-Destined and you got that Digi-Riz, you can have the most powerful sentient being on your side for battle and not even be in middle school yet. Now given, anyone who wants to be can become a trainer. While only the destined few in these multiverses are gifted a digital friend, but that's a point for later on. From a business context, there's really a lot more room for growth in the Pokemon world. The market is heavily saturated with beginners, making winning money and battles extremely easy whoever you are. While for Digimon, the point of entry is a lot rarer, which is great for fans of Pokemon, but also means that like 75% of Digi-Destined are well-trained assassins, while most Pokemon trainers are probably rocking a Magikarp after school. And to add insult to injury, Digimon can also evolve every single battle they're in. As long as the human has enough strong emotions to muster an evolution, they're good. In later seasons, they near evolve 3 times at once if they're up against something strong enough. But no matter how hard Ash tries, if he don't lock in and put in the hours training, Piplup is not evolving. Though there is the argument that if the Elite Four were to face off against a Digi-Destined or a gym trainer, this might be different. since they do have the qualifications and legendary Pokemon, evolved or not, to get the job done. Fair, but might I add a rebuttal to your argument? Have you seen the moves that they use in Digimon? Let's compare two starter fire types, okay? Agumon and Chimchar. I could already hear it. Why don't you use Charmander? Charizard is such a classic. Hey, I hear you millennials, okay? Though, first generation is legendary. As a Gen Z, there's a certain je ne sais quoi sweet spot for Sinnoh. What can I say? Now, Agumon's ultimate form would be Wargreymon and Chimchar Infernape. Sure, Raging Fury Infernape charges at you in roaring barrage of flames, and yes, it's 100% accurate with 120 power. I get it. But Terra Force literally takes all of the energy within the atmosphere like he works for NASA or something,
Houston, we have a problem.
and concentrates it into one spot. Mans basically throws a DIY sun at you. Like, how are you supposed to stop that?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 thoughts. Coming in at number 1, you.
Even for Infernape, they were in a stadium. So you see that? They're in a stadium. There's fans everywhere. If the flames didn't hurt the fans or the trainers, congratulations, you made a bonfire. We can make s'mores. Yay. But when Wargreymon throws a raging galactic star during battle, I know Ty's digging an underground nuclear bunker as we speak. Let's review, shall we? Infernape can cook meats up to 165 degrees, and Wargreymon, in one foul swoop, took out the dinosaurs. Like that. And what makes it worse is Agumon is actually a dinosaur. So that means he's out here taking out his own kind, like a Tachi Uchiha. I swear all these anime universes are linked up one way or another. It's like animated MCU. Oh, wait. we don't talk about that. Needless to say, from a sheer power and ability standpoint, Digimon takes the win, no questions asked. But that doesn't really answer our question, does it? There's more that goes into what makes universes like Pokemon or Digimon better than the other. And we know from plot alone, even the strongest moves will be saved off to add suspense. You know, it's like, it would be boring if the main character just comes out the cut and demolishes everything first move. Even One Punch Man, there's layers to that story, you know? He gets bored like a deity would with no purpose in life and just, it's classic. So, there is still an argument to be made that other aspects could help Pokemon get the upper hand. One point goes to Pokemon for its franchising capability, as the brand itself is far more well known compared to its counterpart, with 34 core game titles spanning 9 generations with well over 500 million units sold worldwide. That's stupid impressive. I'll give it that Digimon does have more total console titles out since 1999, but there wasn't already an answer on Google, and the only source I could find was Wikipedia, so take that as you will. Alright, I'm not going to bore you with the details of me counting through every single one on this list, but there were 49. Alright, we're not counting mobile titles, but was there a single one that I could remember? No. Even the most recent title was trash. It was hyped up to be the next big thing in Digimon, accompanying the 2020 reboot Adventure series. I even spent my own hard-earned money on that game. $60 down the drain to try to relive my childhood nostalgia, only to be met with a generic turn-based pocket-style click-through journey game with little to no substance and just a whole bunch of money grabs, playing off the nostalgia of the shows built in the 2000s. Ugh. And to make matters worse, there were minimal animations across the game to even show any of the moves or evolution of the Digimon, and a majority of the effort was spent on plot, which I do give them credit for since the story wasn't bad. Per usual, the Digimon universe can write a story and a plot. And the character icons, even though were in a Pocket Mario style kind of design, which I don't really prefer, but they were detailed and styled pretty well, so I will give them that. But a AAA title that costs $60, that should not be the only two upsides for the entirety of the game. Now hold on. I may have spoke too soon. Just a little bit. All 48 other games are trash, so it doesn't matter. But I will say, doing some research for this video, I found out that Bandai, the company behind Digimon, learned from their mistakes. Many companies nowadays, they don't. And they're releasing a new open world title in 2025 called Digimon Storytime Stranger. But it's only going to be released on PS5. Also per usual. Bro, this is like the MCU Spider-Man games all over again. They really be doing the Xbox community so dirty time and time again. Like, bruh. The new game looks good, but nothing can compare to the level of nostalgia that early Game Boy and Nintendo DS Pokemon games bring. Like, come on. My first ever YouTube channel started in 2010, even got its first 150,000 views, doing Fire Red walkthroughs. Come on. I can almost bet money that at least half of the entire global Pokemon fan base aren't even from the shows, but the trading card games, the console games, and I guess now the mobile TCG apps too. Which is also why the parent companies in Japan who own Pokemon have significantly more revenue and funds too. Nintendo ADR currently has a stock price of 16.71, while Bandai 16.01. Though 0.7 doesn't seem like much in the grand scheme of things, that 0.7 results in billions of dollars of revenue each year. If you look deeper into the numbers and the important ones, you see that Nintendo made almost double the amount of revenue compared to Bandai, just in 2022 alone. Granted, I mean, Nintendo as a big tech parent company also does sell larger consoles, like the Switch, amongst its other brands, so one could argue for the discrepancy. But don't count Bandai out just yet. They may not make consoles, but they've been a juggernaut in the toys and collectibles business, which is also what Japan is known for. Well, you know, outside of the food, tourism, anime, martial arts, Mario. Okay, yeah. The list goes on. You probably heard of some of Bandai's other IPs, yes? Big Hero 6, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, Power Rangers, freaking Godzilla? Should I go on? For Christ's sakes, they even gave us the Tamagotchi. Outside of just industrial dominance, the trading card game for Pokemon also just makes more sense, you know? The item cards and energy cycling system makes the game more engaging with more variations for playstyles, while the Digi equivalent basically comes down to your first drawn hand and who has better starters. There's really no battle system, it just comes down to a game of war essentially. Energies in Pokemon also balance the gameplay as higher evolved Pokemon that can easily one-shot need more turns to build up energy and vice versa. This formatting system is also the reason why there hasn't been a good Digimon game outside of the MMORPGs from back in the day. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I mean, for crying out loud, even the Bakugan game was good. It's Bakugan. Sure, it was on the OG Wii and the graphics were trash, but that was still a fun game. That didn't stop Pokemon Battle Revolution, which had all of us crammed in the basement of our 4th grade friend's house playing the hell out of that repetitive game. But the problem was, well, there wasn't a problem. That game made all of the same mistakes Digimon makes with its games and still ended up being better. Bandai, do better! To recap, if we're gonna talk about franchising and the trading card game and console games, Pokemon would be a prime Mike Tyson fighting an elderly Jake Paul. Yep, that's the metaphor we're gonna go with. Accessibility should also come into the picture when debating this topic, since Digimon and Pokemon both fill up distinct niche groups within this genre. One focuses on well thought out plots and storylines that help viewers fall in love with the main cast as seasons progress, while the other relies on precedent and keeping an ongoing theme or story arc to prop up a $1 trillion merchandising corporation. Pokemon has always felt more like a sitcom show, with the likes of Family Guy, American Dad, and the other boatload of American adult animated shows, where there's a reused plot cycle where most episodes recycle similar structures that viewers tune in time and time again for. While Digimon is more like a science fiction occult classic, far more effort is put into a progressive storyline where we get to see growth and development of the main cast. much more cinematic, and an ability to create a die-hard fan base. Sure, everyone and their moms loves Pokemon, and can probably name their top 5 from their generation, but anyone who loves Digimon lives, breathes, and eats Digimon, with every waking moment of their existence spent chasing the last Digi-thrill.
Pause.
It's really just a different level of commitment. Now, I'm not saying Pokemon doesn't have diehard fans. We all know that's not true. But the way these IPs are set up draws in different demographics. The average Pokemon fan can watch the show a little and play the games for nostalgia's sake here or there. The repetitive nature of the brand allows you to come in and out and still be up to speed with what's going on. Even if I haven't touched anything Pokemon related since Sinnoh, I still know generally what's going on. But with Digimon, there's a full circle storyline, with each season making it harder for subsequent ones to link up without a significant time jump. And making matters worse, outside of the main adventure seasons, which are 1, 2, and 8, each following contains an entirely new multiverse of characters and animators, making it even harder to catch up on the already convoluted Digimon theory, if you will. So even if you're just a few episodes behind on a new season, it would be hard to comprehend the progress made in the earlier episodes since they don't really follow a particular formula. One could even argue the formulaic process of Pokemon only keeps the attention span of younger audiences. I don't see many adults out here enthralled with the new shows, but they will square up for the new card drops or wait in line for a new game to come out. Digimon fans are different. They may not buy all of the merch, toys, or games that come out, since they're much more captivated by the storyline and can see themselves in the Digidestined individually, while Pokemon fans resonate more with the concept of being a trainer itself. That's why there can be hundreds, if not thousands, of kids dressing up as a trainer for Halloween, but it not even being Ash. Like, they just be themselves, but with Pokemon. While Digimon fans separate themselves into houses based on their archetypes. It's practically giving Hogwarts at this point. Come on. Oh yes, young one, you will be the house of Agumon. Another point to note are both brands' primary audience group they're aiming towards. Even though both Pokemon and Digimon are technically kid shows, the artistic style and overall design of both are different. Pokemon is generally designed for kids, where there are minimal aspects in the show that can be enjoyed by full-grown adults without kids. But after rewatching seasons of Digimon, I never really noticed when I was younger, but many bits were aimed at adults who can appreciate an animated story. There were sexualized characters, innuendos, even many of the real-world problems tackled were far more mature. As in, no way has Pokemon ever tried to deal with the traumas of a single-parent family, or full-blown apocalyptic prophecies like Digimon has.
If you don't act, everything is going to be destroyed. Only we can stop this!
Pokemon is more so centered from a child's point of view, and the heaviest topic it dives into would be the potential loss of a childhood pet. Even animation styles differ in this way. Regardless of the new animator involved, I know for a fact Pokemon is going to be bright, cute, and colorful, as that's the aesthetic they're going for. While depending on the scene and the point in the show, there are moments where blood and gore come out during battles with Digimon. Even the way they end their existence differs. Pokemon faint and just need an app to become brand new, while Digimon like Patamon literally pass away and has to have their soul reincarnated. If this doesn't sound like a biblical rendition, then I have never seen Lion King. And, well... Nah, we're not gonna do that. I argue a fair comparison to help this case would be, think Disney's Incredibles. Even though it's a family-friendly kids film, there were aspects grown-ups can certainly welcome, and it touched on many mature themes similar to Digimon, like growing old without fulfillment of dreams, the complicated struggle of managing one's work and home life, and even making sure your children learn from your mistakes. While something like Wreck-It Ralph would be along the lines of Pokemon, as there isn't much real depth when it comes to heavy-hearted themes and socio-political commentary, but it sure is colorful, and the cute little green candy can talk. Yay. All in all, I would argue that both have their particular niches they fill up in global culture, and that's why both are still here today relevant. And we can still contribute to this debate even more than 3 decades later. Digimon is definitely more so designed for fans who appreciate a complex plot and character progression, rather than the capitalist and cultural add-ons. While Pokemon fans look more for a community of like-minded trainers who share the same love that they have for the brand, regardless of how repetitive each new season and game may be. They see it more so as their comfort media to take part in, where the second you step foot onto the battleground, all of the troubles around you in your personal life just disappears. And Digimon fans do the same exact thing, just in a different way. Instead of locking in on a card battle or linking up your DSs, yes, I know, I'm old. DS, get over it. At least I didn't bring up the Millennies Game Boy Advance. Although, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty dope. Digimon fans choose to lock in with their favorite season, hugging a bowl of popcorn and a blanket, bringing them the same amount of joy as a Poke fan during a convention.
I'm not old enough for this.
Yeah? Well, I'm 8. Hey, if you thought that was weird, you should have seen her when she was a dog.
Alright, that's all folks. We'll see you next time.
I just want to talk to him.
Why do you have a shotgun?
I just want to talk to him.
Dad, this is ridiculous.
I just want to talk to him. I
gun
just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to shoot him. I just want to talk to him.
That's all, folks.
Nah, we don't need auditions. Oh, it goes right. Okay. It's just a practice. It don't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing matters.
Hello? Hello?
Sit down, Bob. I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
Okay. Why?